Two Riders on the Beach by Max Lieberman carries a cultural ethos because it demonstrates Nazi Germany and the destruction it led in its path. Max Lieberman was born on the 20th of July in the year 1847. He was Jewish. He began studying art in 1869 in Germany. Then he went to study further in depth in Paris in 1872. And by 1876, he was studying further in the Netherlands. In 1884, he returned to his hometown of Berlin. This is where he stayed for the rest of his life. He married Martha Machwald and used the wealth he inherited from his father and bought mostly French Impressionist paint. This had a large impact on his painting style. After his painting 12-Year-Old Jesus in the Temple with the Scholars stirred up controversy, Lieberman decided it best to steer away from religious matters in his artwork. Lieberman was then elected to the Prussian Academy of Arts and became an active speaker on the separation of arts and politics. In 1920, Lieberman had become the president of the Academy, and in 1927, on Lieberman's 80th birthday, Lieberman was given an honorary citizen of Berlin title, but this excitement was short-lived, because Lieberman was forced to resign when in 1933, Jewish men and women were no longer able to show their artwork. In 1909, Lieberman moved into a villa where he painted his garden regularly, and by February 8, 1935, Lieberman passed away in his sleep. His wife was forced to kill herself in a few years because of Nazis. Although Lieberman was famous, his death was not reported by the media because of the Nazis' control, proving that his artwork and his life were both stolen by the Nazis.
David Torn, who was 13 at the time, watched the Nazis steal the painting from his uncle, David Freeman, in 1938. Some of David Torn's family was killed in concentration camps, but David was lucky enough to emerge and flee to Switzerland, and then the U.S. Two Riders on the Beach was sold by the Nazis to the art dealer Hildenbrand Gurlitt. Gurlitt passed on the artwork to his son, and when his son died, the artwork was then found in his apartment. The art was then returned to Mr. Torn, but the man had lost his sight, so he sold the artwork for a reasonable price. Personally, I believe this artwork carries a cultural ethos because it was made by a Jewish painter in Berlin who would eventually become a victim of the oppression of the Nazi Party. His work is symbolic of all of the Jewish people. The work taken from him, just like the lives had been taken from the Jewish men and women. We should care because what happened to the Jewish people was unforgivable and inhumane, but the actions were carried out by millions of Nazi soldiers because of one man calling the orders. It is important because we cannot let history repeat itself. This piece of art isn't just a painting. It's a symbol of every Jewish man, woman, and child that was horribly mistreated. And it's a reminder that no matter who you were, if you were Jewish, you would be sentenced to a fate worse than death. It's crazy to think about how the time of Hitler's control was less than 100 years ago. It's important that history never repeats itself. It's important that humanity can never allow one another to forget the things that went down, no matter how unpleasant. This artwork is a symbol of the time, even though it has nothing to do with Nazi Germany or Jewish men and women. I believe that the history of the art piece and the artist himself is what defines a piece of art, and that is why Two Riders on the Beach is symbolic of Jewish men and women and their treatment.